Should you date a friend's ex? This is such a loaded topic, and I have seen friendships end because of this. And I feel very deeply about this topic because I've had friends betray me in the past. So let's just dive right into it. My personal opinion is that no matter what, if they're close friends, if they're acquaintances, and I think it's just out of respect, bro. It's just out of respect, I'm not gonna mess with the person I used to date with. And when you think about it, right, there's billions of people in the world, and you want to choose the person that this person had dated, and there's probably a really big chance that it's gonna hurt the other person. They're gonna feel some type of way about it. And where I'm coming from is I don't want to cause, someone who's very empathetic, I don't want to cause any pain to an individual if it's unnecessary, right? So if it's gonna cause pain for me to date somebody's ex, I'm no, I want, out of respect, I don't want to cause any pain. I can choose from a plethora of other individuals around the world or in my city or wherever in the dating scene. So I personally don't think it's cool. And when I was thinking about where does this come from? I feel like everybody has different belief systems around it, and I'm just obviously just sharing my opinion. One of my first girlfriends, she messed around with two of my good friends while she was still seeing me. And I just remember how betrayed I felt, not only from her, but from those two friends. And I remember that friend asking me, he's like, bro, I'm so sorry, can we still be friends? And I was like, no, of course not. Of course I'm not going to be your friend. You betrayed me. And I think that's where my values come from. And it really got solidified by one of my really great friends that I met 5 years ago at these retreats I used to go to for healing. And we were both into the same chick. And there was a little bit of I don't want to say tension, but it was like a little mucky. It's some gray area that we're both touching. And I told him, I was like, bro, I never want a woman to come between us, because we were getting really close. And he agreed to that. And ever since then, we made a pact, as a brotherhood. And I think that should be true, in my own opinion. If you have bros, that should never be a thing. Your friendship should always come before another woman or another partner. And I think the same thing with women. If you have a sisterhood, right, and you're supposed to be tight, you're supposed to have a foundation that has a possibility of crumbling the foundation with your friends. And I've seen a friend date another friend's ex and have babies with them, and it just crushed. And they were really good friends too. They're tight circle. And I remember just seeing that after high school and just saying wow, how could you do that? And yeah, I just find it creates a mess. I've seen so much mess being created by that. I've seen it get mucky and weird and chaotic, and I'm not trying to create that much chaos, And it's interesting because I've been tested. Two people have came up to me over this past year and asked, one of them asked hey, I'm interested in your ex. And I remember looking at him and I was just oh wow, okay, I can tell he's coming from it out of respect, and everybody has a different belief system around how those things work. And I basically looked him in his eye and I said, hey bro, we've been friends for 4 years, not close, but we known each other through certain people, and we've had some deep conversations here and there. And I remember standing there and looked in his eye. I was like, hey bro, you're free to do whatever you want. I'm not here to control your life. Yet the way I move as a man, if you do that, we are no longer friends. And I can tell he was uncomfortable by that conversation. And later down the line, we had a conversation again, and he goes, bro, I value, our friendship. I value our friendship over, exploring something with your ex. And I really appreciated that. And I had lost a little bit of respect when he asked that to my face. But when he had made that decision and he saw value in our friendship, whether we're close or not very close, just the type of friendship that we had, I gained that respect back because he chose to respect me, and I felt respected by him, like leaning away from that energy. And to share another story, which happened very around the same time, another individual basically told me like, hey, I'm going to be seeing your ex, and I just felt so blindsided, and I was like, this guy didn't even check in. He just said, hey, I'm doing this, and it just felt really slimy. And I told him, I was like, bro, like, we're not homies anymore. Like, so don't come up to me like we're cool. And yeah, that felt like a blindside to me. It was like not even checking in, and just like I've shared things around my ex, and like he held space for me in vulnerable spaces where I've talked about the pain that I felt from my ex, and he goes and does that. So that felt really slimy, and that creates chaos. That creates like a ripple effect. And this is such a nuanced conversation, right? Because technically, we don't own people, right? Everybody has free will to do what they want. Yet at the same time, like, actions impact other individuals, right? Like, if you started to see your friend's ex like 1 to 6 months or even a year after they broke up, right? Like, breakups are rough, and people are still going through pain years down the line. And for you to start seeing that person without checking in, that's gonna hurt your friend, especially if you didn't check in. And it's like, and you may be asking, like, so is it ever okay to see someone's ex? And I think it just really depends on people's belief systems, right? Like, for me, I don't roll that way. And it's, if you're in my friend circle and we have opposite belief systems, then that's gonna be an issue between us, and that's probably gonna probably have differences in values in the way we move, and probably affect our connection, right? And the only way I can possibly see for me, right, if that was okay, if it's been like years, like 5-10 years, and you checked in, right, it's like just so much time has passed, like even then, like that still feels a little off to me. But like for other people, like to make sure time has passed and make sure there's like no ill intent to that person's ex, and if they make sure they have no feelings, and just like, I think what I'm trying to say, like, check in. And if you truly value that friendship, right, like check in with that friend, right, and let them know, like, I don't want, if you truly want to keep that friendship, tell them like, hey, like, I want to be honest, I'm having these feelings, and but I want to prioritize you, and and even in that might hurt that other person. That might even cause like a separation between you and that friend, even if you ask that question. So it's a very tricky situation. So that's the reason why I personally don't want to do that with a friend's ex, because even the mere fact of wanting to ask that question to a friend, like, can I see your ex, like that can cause an issue with that friend, possibly cause a disconnection, and I just don't want that. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents around dating other people's exes. And yeah, well, hope this brought some interesting light to the conversation.